Hey dreamers, welcome back to your Dream Coach podcast, where we talk about what it really takes to build a business, a mission, and a life you love from the inside out. I'm your host, Shayla Wey, and if you've ever found yourself saying, there's never enough time, my to-do list is endless, or even I just feel at work, I work all day, but I still am just feeling really behind. This episode is for you. And today I'm diving into a topic that's honestly been one of the biggest game changers for me, both personally and professionally. And it's around time management for entrepreneurs and just leaders in general, and how to get more done in less time. But I do want to be clear, this is not about hustle culture. This is not about cramming more in. It's about getting laser focused on what actually moves the needle so you can grow your business and still have a life that's very fulfilling. So I'm sharing what I've personally found to work after almost 2 decades in business and coaching small business owners. 8 time management truths that change the way I work, lead, and live. So let's get into it. Number 1 is you don't need more time. You need more prioritization. I used to think if I could just get a few extra hours, I'd finally catch up. But the truth is, time expands for what we prioritize. And what I have found is that most entrepreneurs don't have a time problem. They have a decision-making problem. So they're spending too much time on tasks that feel urgent, but aren't actually important. I hear this on tons of coaching calls where people are constantly putting out those little fires, right? Inbox their emails, over designing maybe graphics, constantly tweaking offers, putting a lot more energy to things that don't really matter. And so the shift is, and this is something that I've found that works really well for myself and I've shared with lots of clients, is every morning asking ourselves, what is 1 to 3 things that would make today successful? And then commit to those first. And this alone will radically increase your productivity and, more importantly, reduce stress. And what I have found is that with owning a business in a leadership role, having multiple plates that we have to spin, is when we have our list of things to do, our projects, right? You name it, is that list is never going to end, right? As soon as we check off one thing, a few more added. And so just really prioritizing 1 to 3 things every single day not only allows us to actually feel that sense of productivity, but it does allow us to laser in and focus and get that accomplishment. And that compound effect over the weeks, months, years makes massive moves in business. The second is time block. Time blocks beat to-do lists every single time. This is something that I've definitely incorporated into my business more so in these last couple years, because the thing about traditional to-do lists is, like I just said, they're endless. There's really no finish line and they don't account for time. So what I found is that time blocking changed everything for me. So instead of writing something on my to-do list, for example, record my podcast or follow up with clients, is I will schedule time, let's say 1 hour for certain tasks. Instead of writing follow up with, leads, I'll block off 30 minutes, at certain parts of the day to do that. Now, why this works is it forces you to estimate the time. It gives you gives the tasks that you have an actual home, and it reduces that mental clutter. So time blocking will turn those plans into action. And what I found, and I say this a lot on my coaching client sessions, is that if it's important to you, whether it's personally, professionally, financially, it needs to be in the schedule. So if following up with leads is important, then that has to be somewhere in the schedule. And when it's actually time blocked and put somewhere in your day, the chances of it getting done goes up a lot more. And also it takes it, mentally out of our minds, because we know we have it in a spot on our calendar. It's been a huge, huge game changer for me. The third one is to delegate or delete. So stop doing what doesn't need you. This one changed my business. I was doing everything: invoicing, scheduling, Canva designs, admin, and wondering why I couldn't take things to the next level. And so what I found is if it doesn't require your unique genius, it's probably time to delegate it or to delete it. So asking ourselves, can this be automated? Could this be taught to somebody else? Does this even need to be done at all? Time isn't just about doing more, it's about doing less of what doesn't matter. So oftentimes when I'm working with clients, right, we will scale with systems and standards of procedures. And if it doesn't need that owner, that leader to be doing that task, then it needs to be delegated or deleted. And that, just even doing an audit on our own business, can make a huge game changer when it comes to growing and results and really focusing on what are the key drivers of growing the business. The fourth tip is batch your work to minimize mental switching. Multitasking sounds efficient, but it's one of the fastest ways to lose time and energy. And so what I have found is that batching tasks, grouping similar activities together, saves hours each week. So here's how I batch is I'll do one day for coaching calls. I'll have certain parts of my day for, let's say, content creation. I'll put in specific hours for emails and follow-ups. I block off certain times of the day and week for admin and just back end and just even that future planning. And why this works is it allows me to stay more in my mental zone, and you reduce that start-stop fatigue. You are able to work faster because you're focused. And so if you just try this for even 1 week, you will see how much smoother your day feels. And so what I'll often do is I will kind of zoom out and take a look at what an ideal week in the life of my business looks like and what would feel good. And then I just time block and build out from there. And this is a strategy that I've used with a lot of clients, because especially if people are working in a 9 to 5 or they're their own business owner, couple things happen is we just sort of have this open canvas, this open slate of space with this big, huge, long list to do. And so we need to treat ourselves, whether we are the CEO or not, is treating ourselves and our schedule like everything in there is a reflection of what matters to us in our business. The fifth one is to stop overcommitting, because your calendar isn't a badge of honor. There was a time that I definitely thought being booked solid meant I was successful. And it was a big shift, a big spoiler alert, that just really meant I was exhausted. And so what I found is that a full calendar doesn't necessarily equal a full life. And so the strategies that I started to implement was starting to build in buffer times. And I struggled with this initially because to me, that felt initially like it was just wasted space. But what I have learned now that I've fully implemented buffers and just empty space to reflect and plan and think ahead and just honestly have empty space for the calm, is that those buffers between meetings, an afternoon or a morning with nothing scheduled, and just even one full leadership day or CEO day with no appointments, that is where I have found my best ideas, decisions, creativity often happen in that space between. So protect your time like your business depends on it, because it does. The sixth one is use the power hour concept to kickstart your day. There's just something really powerful about starting your day intentionally. So for me, the first hour often sets the tone for the next 8. So what I found is that a power hour, and just even it's labeled power hour, but just even that intentional start to the day can give you momentum, clarity, and confidence. And so mine looks very similar most days. And I often recommend this to clients too, is just waking up at the same time every day allows us, again, to not have that, extra decision that we need to be making. For some people, it's really important to get that movement in first thing, the mindset work, whether that's meditating, journaling, just planning, just mentally walking through the day, taking time to maybe have some creative space, just having some time, whether that's 30, 45 minutes, even an hour, to just intentionally set the tone and the pace for your day really can change how we spend every hour that we have throughout the day and then into that week. Number 7 is track where your time actually goes. This one might sting, but this one definitely sticks with me, is when my clients tell me I don't have time, I will always ask, have you tracked it? Because here's the deal, is I learned years ago that we all have 168 hours in the week. Every successful millionaire, billionaire, successful CEO, leader has the same amount of time as each of us. It's how we spend those hours that differentiate us, and how we scale and how we grow and how we delegate. And so what I found is that most of us dramatically underestimate how much time we're losing to distractions, scrolling, or decision fatigue. So just even try this. For 3 days, track your time in 30-minute blocks. Just observe, no judgment. You will likely find repetitive tasks that could have been systemized, gaps you can reclaim, and just even time leaks that are draining your energy. So awareness is step one to reclaiming your time back. And the last one, number 8, is create a weekly leadership CEO employee ritual. Even if you are an employee, listen to this, I will often challenge you when I'm coaching to think like a CEO, think like a business owner. Because even though you may be an employee working inside of an organization, you can still have that mindset to grow and scale even your current role. And this is one of the most powerful things that I do every single week, whether that's on Fridays or Sundays. Oftentimes it's even Mondays for me, is I'll block off a chunk of time for my ritual, right? For my reflection. And what it includes is I review throughout the last week of what worked for me, what didn't work. I'll track progress on key goals, prepping my calendar for that week or even month ahead, and then just asking myself, what's one thing I can simplify next week? And so what I found is just creating space to check in does create flow, creates focus, it creates freedom. And for me, a lot of confidence comes when I have a plan. And I'll often say when in coaching sessions, when people are overwhelmed, when people are feeling that burnout, is that a plan of action, even though it's not always the most fun thing to do, is that planning gives us confidence. And so when I'm continuously doing these check-ins with myself, it allows me to lead my business instead of just reacting to it. And so this is how you move from being busy to being intentional. And intention with everything we do in our workspace really can be that key game changer in moving the growth that we want to have for more peace. And so I just want you to remember that you don't need more hours in the day. You need more intention with the hours that you already have. So I just want to recap the 8 time mastery shifts that have changed the game for me and my clients. 1 is prioritize results over the noise. Number 2, use time blocks, not endless to-do lists. 3, delegate or delete the non-essential. Number 4, batch similar tasks for momentum. Number 5, protect white space, so don't overschedule. Number 6 is start with the power hour. Number 7, track your time to spot hidden leaks. And 8 is lead your week with a leadership CEO ritual. So your challenge this week is to pick one of these shifts to implement starting tomorrow. Maybe it's blocking your calendar. Maybe it's tracking your time. Maybe it's finally outsourcing that thing that's been draining you. DM me on Instagram at Shayla Wey Coaching to tell me what shift you're making. I love hearing how you're stepping into more freedom and focus. And if this episode helped you, share it with a fellow entrepreneur who's feeling stuck in busy work. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a review so we can keep supporting dreamers like you. You've got the vision. Now let's get the time and space it deserves. I'll see you next time on your Dream Coach podcast.